You got time for me?
Oh, I've always got time for you.
Well, it's little Mary Sunshine, and what do I owe the pleasure of this cheery disposition?
I'm always like this.
Not quite. Okay. Just tell me, what secret do we have locked up deep in our heart?
Well, you know, I don't really have a secret. I do have a surprise.
Talk to me.
You know, Duke's new club is opening in New York. Well, we want to have, like, a big party. And we decided that we should maybe invite some of our friends here from Port Charles. And somewhere along the line, you got invited.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. If you come, you can bring a friend. Maybe Cheryl.
Of course, I'd love to come, and I'd be delighted to bring Cheryl.
Okay.
You know, I've always had an enormous curiosity about that place.
Robert, the night is strictly fun, okay?
Well, come on. What else? I mean, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I guess this means that, what's his name will be spending more time at home, right?
Yes, it does mean that Duke will be home more often, and I'm very happy about it, and I suppose maybe that's the secret of my happiness.
Bingo.
So why are you here?
Work.
Oh.
Let's talk about the Martin Woods case, shall we?
Robert, he resided in New Jersey. I think that that is out of your jurisdiction.
Yeah, but he disappeared here in Port Charles, and that's very much my jurisdiction. And as I recall, I only gave you 1 extra day.
All right. Okay. What I have on this is just a photograph of him. I also have a very expensive wristwatch which had an inscription. Basically, we have a missing man who is related to the Carter family in New Jersey, and now we have a missing wife and children, too.
Mrs. Woods is missing?
Yeah.
How did you know that?
I went to New Jersey. I wanted to talk to her face-to-face instead of over the phone. I had a feeling that she was keeping something from me. Well, when I got to the apartment, she was gone. She'd obviously left in a hurry. I mean, there was nothing there, and a pot was on the stove, and it was still warm.
Interesting. Huh. You know, I might have known you wouldn't bring your hunch to me, even though it's now officially a police matter.
And I suppose you'd have brought it to me had the positions been reversed.
Probably not.
What have you got?
2 points of interest. One, Woods was definitely involved with the Carter mob. And 2, there seems to be a long-running feud between the Carters and Jeromes. That name ring a bell with you?
Oh, Robert.
What?
Don't do this. Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Don't involve Duke in this. Don't.
There's nothing in my past that I'm ashamed of. Give me the past.
Where is selfish? Where?
Just what do you want?
Well, I'm just wondering what Robert would think about what went on down in the Sunshine State. You know, some of your questionable corporate takeover deals.
Get to the point, Scott.
Well, the point is that Robert is a man of integrity, principles. So I would assume that he would look for the same thing in his little friends.
If it would give you some sort of sadistic pleasure to tell Robert anything you want about me, why don't you just go ahead?
No, not just yet.
Look, I have appointments this morning. Are you finished?
No.
All right.
New business.
Go on.
Well, do you remember when I told you I would hook you up with Meditech for your portfolios?
Yes.
Well, it's come to my attention that Amanda Barrington, Edward and Ellen Quartermain, Sean Donnelly are all heavily invested in the Stansberry Fund. Is that true, or have my sources been lying to me?
They're invested, yes.
Heavily invested. That's good. That's perfect. Because now it's come time to dump out of all stocks and invest the entire fund in Meditech.
Are you nuts?
Nope.
The whole point of the Stansberry Fund is diversification. It's meant to protect my clients from ever having to face a financial bloodbath. What are you up to?
I'm not up to anything. This is a bona fide offer.
Oh, I'll bet.
Listen, let me tell you something. I came back to town to reestablish myself. Now, I respect these people, and I want them to respect me. And I would never do anything to jeopardize that. So, convert to Meditech, and we'll be rich.
What do you know about Meditech that I don't?
Just convert and forget about your friends. They will make a fortune on top of what they already have.
I'm not promising anything.
I'm waiting, Olivia. What course of action should we take now? What would Julian do? It's only a matter of time. Very little time before Scorpio discovers Wood's body, which leads straight to Carter, then to Duke, then to the Jerome family. Advise me. What should we do?
I never said I could be a successful mobster.
Don't use that word.
All I've been trying to do is fulfill Julian's dream of making this family legitimate. I can bend a little by hiding Mrs. Woods away. But I don't know anything and can't do anything about bodies in the bottom of a river. I have no advice. All I want is the respect of the family so that I can help make Julian's dream a reality before it's too late.
Olivia, come here. Sit down. I know how much you loved your brother, and I deeply appreciate your devotion to him. And there are times, I'll admit, when I'm weary of the constant struggle and the danger and the violence. But Duke has given his word that he will honor Julian's wishes, and he will never break that vow. It is a job for a man. I want you safe. You're the only thing in my life that means anything to me, truly.
I know.
Then let me guide your happiness.
What do you mean?
After the club opens tomorrow night, I want you to go back to your art gallery, forget about everything here.
Everything.
I've seen the way you look at Duke. I know you're still thinking of trying to take him away from his wife. You're opening yourself to great pain.
Or great joy.
Baby, you're wrong.
Daddy, if Duke's love for Anna is as strong as you feel it is, then there's nothing I can do to change that. But you have to admit, as long as his heart is in Port Charles, you're going to have problems.
Every time I think that I can trust you, that everything's going swimmingly between us, then you start again, picking and poking away at my life. I mean, you are so suspicious of everything and everybody.
I don't know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
you do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. I'm talking about Duke. Ever since you first met him, you've been trying to prove that he's a bad guy, and you can't do that. And you know what I think?
No, I've never been able to do that.
Well, I just think that you can't stand the fact that I found happiness with another man.
Really?
Yes, really.
Look, I didn't come around here to make a personal attack on your husband.
Didn't you?
No, I'm just a poor working class cop trying to put a few more pieces into the puzzle.
All right, if you can make the connection between Duke and this missing Mr. Woods, please be my guest.
And if you can stop being the typical emotional female, then I'll continue.
Continue.
As I said, I'm trying to put a few more pieces back into the puzzle, solve it where I can.
Go ahead.
I'm wondering, is it a coincidence? I guess it must be.
What?
Well, we both know that Woods has disappeared, and we both know that Woods was part of the Carter family.
Yes?
We also know that the Carters and the Jeromes are currently going at it together.
Reputedly, yes.
Reputedly. Now, even though Duke couldn't possibly be involved, I mean, I find it an enormous coincidence that he just happens to be starting up a club in a restaurant that Victor Jerome regards as his second home.
Oh, the poor darling. Monica,
Monica, dear, shouldn't you be getting up? Monica.
Oh, good morning, Lila.
I'm so sorry to wake you, dear, but I was afraid you were oversleeping.
No. What time is it?
It's nearly 11 o'clock.
What? 11?
5 minutes of 11.
Oh, my God, I'm late. I should have been at the hospital. I mean, I've got post-op patients I'm supposed to see. I've got... Oh, my God, I've got a meeting with Steve I'm late for. How could this happen? 10 o'clock? Why did I oversleep? Why didn't Alan wake me up? Wait a minute, he did wake me up. He did come in, he did wake me up. And he lulled me back to sleep again. And he did it on purpose. Con artist?
Monica, whatever do you mean?
Just what I said. He's a con artist. He wanted me to oversleep. He wants me to fall flat on my face. He wants me to fail. That's what I'm going to show him.
Oh, my dear, Alan doesn't want you to fail. I think he was just concerned for you.
Concerned? Huh? No, he doesn't think I can keep up the pace. He thinks he'd be much better suited for the job of assistant chief of staff. Well, no, Wade, man.
You know, under the circumstances, I think we ought to be awfully grateful, really. It could have been so much worse. I find I'm feeling almost happy for Tom.
Yes, we all are. Aren't we, dear?
Oh, yes, we are. And Jessie's right. It could have been much worse. I mean, a year suspended sentence, 500 hours of community service. At least Tom will have plenty of time to think things over.
Now, wait, do you really believe he has to think about this? I know he deeply regrets what he did, but why dwell on it?
Because he has other things to think about.
Like what?
His marriage to Simone, for one. They went into that relationship with their eyes wide open. They both knew that something like this could happen and probably will again. There's still a lot of people out there who do not approve of interracial marriages and never will.
Well, I'm just so sorry that Simone lost the baby. She's such a lovely girl, and this is such a difficult way for them to start out.
Oh, Jess, they'll start again. I'm sure of it.
Well, that's just my point, Audrey. Simone can't go running off every time they don't have an agreement on something and expect Tom to follow suit.
Young love will always find a way. Now, why are we being so negative? I mean, let's look at the bright side, huh? I mean, the incident is over, right? And Tom is free, and he's in the Bahamas with his bride, and I know he's going to bring her back to us. Now, that's the thought I'm going to hold on to. I want you to do the same, Steve.
I will.
All right. Oh, dear, I have to get back. You coming, Jess? In a minute. Oh, all right. Now, don't forget what I said.
I won't, Audrey.
Steve, I didn't want to bring this up while Audrey was here.
What?
Well, how do you think the accreditation committee is going to feel about the trial verdict? I mean, do you think they'll allow Tom's renewal?
I hope so, but they can be pretty tough when they want to be. An acquittal wouldn't have been any problem at all, but Tom wasn't acquitted. He was convicted with a suspended sentence. The powers that be may not like the idea of having a doctor on staff who was found guilty of committing a crime.
Well, if you need anybody with a lot of medical experience to speak up for Tom, you know where to find me.
I always have, Jesse. Thank you.
Well, have a good meeting.